wait for my rice to finish cooking.
Oh, no problem. What do you use? Are you using laptop? Because I have to connect my camera eventually to the to the laptop. It's just it won't let me update my camera to 2.0. It's only on 1.0. I have to update this, but it's not letting me update it because I can't connect it with USB cable. It's so
I'm just
weird.
I'm just using the the camera on my laptop,
Oh, what laptop is that?
MacBook, MacBook Air.
Ah, you see, there we go. Rich boy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I am not blessed with that. I have a shitty.
Can you not connect your good camera to your laptop?
That's what I was just saying. Yeah, but I can't because I have to update it to 2.0. And Jesus, I don't even know how. I tried it on my. Jesus, I can't beat up. The paint is kind of going off the camera. But no, I wanted to connect it, but you have to upgrade to 2.0, and I haven't upgraded it, and I tried to, but it won't let me because I can't connect to the USB. So I have to eventually. But that'll be sick. I can connect this, and the camera quality is 4K. Like that'd be freaking,
Yeah,
and the sound is all be sick. So I'll
that'd be way
eventually.
better.
Mm,
Yeah,
I'll be.
I don't think your sound is great.
Yeah,
But
my sound is pretty terrible. My sound is terrible.
anyways, what you want to talk about? What are the topics of
Well, no, I was
discussion?
just basically this week I was gonna say let's talk about ourselves because obviously Tate is innocent. You know what I mean? Alex Jones confirmed it, so we won't go into that. But no, what was I gonna say? We can't go on, but no, I was just gonna say like some couple announcements.
Can you even talk about tailoring your channel now?
Ah, bro, listen, man, I run YouTube, man. YouTube doesn't scare me. No, I'm just kidding. I love you, YouTube. Don't cancel me. No, but dude, I just want to do a couple updates. We can do a couple updates in your life as well. But basically, yeah, just the channel's been down for a while, and
Yeah, you got a strike. What you got a strike because did Aiden Ross actually break his arm?
no, his like security guard broke his arm doing arm wrestling. But like, bro, arm wrestling. I used to arm wrestle. I love arm wrestling. It's just the
Who
fact
was the
that,
arm wrestling?
huh? He was arm wrestling some other guy, but like they're two jacked guys. But you need to have like
Oh,
technique, and also like if your arm's not conditioned for it, then you can break your arm really easily. It's kind of yeah, it's kind of.
don't you have to like constantly look at your hand while you're
Yeah,
doing
yeah,
it?
yeah. Because he was like all like here and like, dude, that's the break territory. It was just a classic. It was a classic arm break. I've seen it 1,000 times. I
Did
actually
he,
saw it in person as well. I've seen that in person in school. It
did
was
he
crazy.
break like the bone here, or did he do
Yeah,
something to
you
his
can
shoulder?
just attach the tendon here. Like it's not a big deal. You just go to the hospital. You just
Hey,
put it in a sling. You don't need surgery or anything like that. It's not like
really?
no, not at
And
all.
you got a strike for that,
Yeah, dude. And there's like 10 other channels that have that video up on YouTube. Like.
bro. They might just be coming after you because you've been talking about Tate. Like,
Yeah, I was thinking that, but I don't think so, bro. I don't think that it's because the smaller channels are easier to attack because they just the way the algorithm works and the monetization. What do they call it? The censorship works on YouTube is basically like the bigger your channel, the less chance you have of getting taken down. Like these smaller channels, they kind of think, oh, if you're under 100K, then you're obviously not talking sense. So let's just like, you know what I mean? Like they just try
yeah.
and take everything down. Like it makes sense. It's fine. I'm just doing nothing but reactions. But bro, they actually did me a solid, and they didn't even know. One of my latest videos is sitting currently at 115,000 views. I made like 30 euro off it, 25, 30 euro. So within
What?
3 days, yeah, baby.
Where's this? Oh, I gotta check this out.
Dude, listen, check it out. You know what I'm saying? They actually did me a solid. So, you know, the ancient Chinese proverb, as the ancient Chinese proverb goes, something may be bad, something may be good. You don't know, whether or not
Yeah.
in the moment it may be good or bad. Like Joe, I'm pretty sure I heard that off Mr. Dan Bilzerian. But yeah, they did pretty solid on that one. Pretty happy with that actually. But
Do you
yeah,
think that's just the algorithm?
yeah, it's just because I'm letting my videos breathe. Because Steve was saying, because I was telling what you said as well, like you don't let the videos breathe. Like, and I let that video breathe for a few days because obviously I can't upload any videos.
What video is it? How long ago was this?
Just it's my third last video, so it's 115,000 views 4 days ago. Ultras Malaya.
106,000 views.
So it's a bit slow. Like I actually has 115. Like I can show you on one second. I'll show you here in the
That's
hand.
crazy.
Yeah, it is
And
pretty
how much
nuts.
do you get paid for that?
Like 25. It should
That is.
it should be at like 30 euro though. but it's because my retention time isn't amazing. Like the
Oh yeah.
retention, yeah, it's kind of the shit thing. Like I need to like hold people for longer, but whatever. Hope we'll be working on that eventually.
Yeah,
But yeah,
because
dude, how's life been? Huh?
was I saying this to you? There's some YouTube channels that I am subscribed to, and sometimes they'll put out like 4 or 5 videos.
Hmm.
And I just won't watch any of them. But if they just put out one video, because that's the only video they put out, I'll
Yeah,
actually watch it.
exactly. It's
It's
more like
sometimes
Steve, because Steve was
it's
saying as well. It's like gold. You know, the only reason gold actually isn't worth anything. It's nothing. But the only reason gold is so expensive is because there's a limited amount of it. Like anything in life is limited. Like Steve was just saying this morning, I dropped him off to college. You know, Steve is now a lecturer. What's his name? What's his name on the channel again? Sai Sensei Steve. That's it. Yeah, Sensei Steve. We
it's
got
like
Shredder. Your name is Shredder. We all have to
yeah,
have aliases, just
yeah.
just in case the Matrix comes
Protect
for
our
us.
identity. So
Yeah.
where's he lecturing? NUIG.
Yeah, yeah, he's doing criminology, so it's crazy. Like that's actually
Not
nuts.
too bad.
Like
Not
he
too
studied for
bad.
like 10 years or something crazy. It's like your uncle and your sister. It's crazy. Like
And is this a full-time gig or what is it?
I think he's just doing part time. He's just doing like 5 hours, 10 hours a week, some shit like that. But I think you have to prepare for the lectures, so it's like a lot of work. You know,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
will
That's
come on.
still good though.
Yeah, it's okay. Like he will come on stream. Now, how's your love life going, man? Not love life. Sorry. How's your money life going?
Yeah, it's going good. Just train my auntie there.
That's sick.
30 euro for a session. Got work Saturday and Sunday.
That's sick. Hell yeah.
They're
Yeah,
going
like
good too.
I'm doing good. Like I just feel like just to keep plotting forward, I really think that now this year is a huge year. You know, I didn't really last year I was so hyped up for the new year. Like this year didn't feel like anything new at all. I didn't feel like hyped up at all. Did you feel like coming into the new year that you felt kind of like good or like I didn't really feel like too like it was a massive change. But for some people on YouTube and Instagram, it looked like it was this huge, oh, I'm gonna attack this year. 2023 is my year. And I'm like, I said that shit last year. I'm just like sick of saying this shit. I'm just like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of like
Well, I don't know. I think we've been working pretty hard already anyways. So like who cares about New Year's?
yeah,
Just
it's
keep
all
keep working.
it's all the same. Um, no new announcements, but just that one that I wanted to say. I said on Twitter, but it didn't really get any much traction, to be honest. But I'm gonna do a new massive podcast with a guy from Dublin. I won't announce who it is yet, just
Oh
because
yeah?
he's gonna ring me on the 20th. Like, but he's a big rapper and stuff from Ireland. Like, it should be sick. Like, I think that podcasts now. What do you think of making a podcast? Do you think that's a good, viable option? Like, honestly, or what's your opinion on that? Because I feel like podcasts are good. There's a lot of people doing podcasts now, but I don't think it's saturated yet. But it's
Yeah.
very close. After this year, I think that market's gonna be just completely saturated. Like, you
I
know,
don't know, like to be honest, sometimes like I see on TikTok and stuff, like there's just every average show now is making a podcast and it's just like these regular blokes just,
yeah,
just not talking about anything.
yeah, it's kind of tough. Like, it's really tough to like engage with people if you're not already doing something like that's like making money or like do you know what I mean or like doing some sort of business. Like if you're just a guy that just works in like a shop, it's like I just had no I would have nothing to talk about. I remember I worked in Evergreen for a while. Like I just had nothing to talk about. I was just like
Yeah.
same shit every fucking day. It's just like what the hell do you even talk about, you know?
If you talk about controversial stuff,
That's what
I
we're gonna
think,
do. Yeah, he said that.
but then you're risking getting your channel banned. Like,
But I
I
don't
mean,
think, bro, I actually don't think that's the case. Do you remember the way because you said that before, do you remember the way True Jordy got cancelled? Do you remember that dumbass man?
yeah.
He got cancelled
True
because he
Jordy,
was
the
like,
guy that sucks on the dildos.
yeah, yeah, the freak man, that guy that sticks dildos up his ass and shit like that. That fucking the guy that judges everyone, but in reality, he's actually the freak. Remember that guy? So
Yeah.
anyway, that guy, he only got cancelled. If we actually think about this logically, he only got cancelled when he mocked people. Like when he was just talking controversial comments and stuff, people don't really care too much. But if you start going like, oh, that guy's like blown up, like, you know, like all this dumb shit, then people start to like, if you just give your opinion, well, for the most part, now, if you're saying some shit about, whatever, some crazy shit like that, yeah, it's probably,
Can
but
you
I
can
think,
you talk about the Tate situation?
you see,
Because
you
I think
don't think
that's
it, You know what we're
That's
gonna
what
do?
everyone wants to hear. Like,
I mean, do they like? I feel like that's just like it's just not a big deal. The guy's obviously innocent. Alex Jones announced it on his platform. He's innocent. He'll be out of jail soon.
do you think so?
Oh, for sure, yeah, yeah, for sure. Like the
Do you not think
Romanian,
do you not think they're trying to get him? Like,
they're trying to they're trying to 86 them, I think. But apart from that, I don't think they're actually trying to. I don't think they're actually trying to like put him in jail because like,
do you see that he's in the hospital now?
yeah, what that was for like asthma or something though, asthma attack or
Was it?
something. I think so,
Yeah.
yeah. Because
But yeah, I don't know. I think he made a tactical mistake because he thought he was safe in Romania because Romania is corrupt. But
yeah,
like the EU can come and put pressure on Romania. I think the US embassy is involved in this. They can put pressure on Romania. They could be like, either arrest this guy or you're not getting the 2 billion to build your roads or some
oh
bullshit. Like
yeah. Is
they
Romania
got,
part of the EU?
yeah,
Holy
yeah.
fuck! Oh, I see. I didn't even know that.
It's like EU is matrix control, you
Mm.
know.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, yeah. That's for sure. Do
But
you
you
think?
think he'll be released?
Yeah, for sure. He will be released, and then it'll be absolute legendary content. Nah, he will be for sure.
Think
He'll just.
so.
I think so, unless they kill him, but I don't think they're gonna kill him. I don't think that he'll get killed like that. That would be nuts.
I don't know. Did you read the charges? Like
What are the charges that they haven't
it's
said anything
pretty
yet though?
it's pretty fucking wishy-washy. Like, I
What are
mean,
they?
when you think of human trafficking, personally, have you seen the movie Taken? Obviously.
Yeah, yeah, that's what
You
I
think
think
of
of. Yeah,
you think of like girls being kidnapped, kept against
that's
their will,
dude, that's
and
crazy.
forced to do stuff. But like when you read what the Romanian police released, they're talking about the lover boy method, where like they
Oh
make the
yeah, that's
girls
what
fall
Steve
in
said.
love with them. Yeah,
Yeah,
they make the
yeah,
girls fall in love with them, and then the girls work for them. But the girls are not kept there against their will.
yeah,
They
yeah,
get
yeah.
paid. So like it's just wishy-washy kind of bullshit. But
Mm.
I think they might get him, to be honest, because
Dragon.
like, cause I watched videos like, and he like Tate is kind of dodgy. Like he does dodgy shit. Like he
Mm.
was saying like he was saying like it was 50-50 split between him and the women. But then he
Mm.
was like, "Oh, I'd lie to them and say that I had to pay taxes, so I'd take a bigger cut and all this." And
Yeah,
like,
like, well, dude, you wouldn't mind that so much. Like, that's obviously bad, but like, they were saying some. Did you see that Vice article? They were saying that he was like raping these women and shit. I was like, bro, I don't think so. Like, I don't think that that's the case.
bro,
Like, if that
that's
was the
such
case, huh?
Vice are such snakes. Vice are completely woke snakes. So you see the
Yeah,
video they put up where the girl's sitting there. First of all, we can't see
yeah,
the girl's face. This could be any girl
yeah. I was
off
gonna
the
react to
street.
that. Yeah, I was
Like
gonna react to that, but I was like,
you could pay any girl any amount of money to just make up any old story. And then she's sitting there and she's saying, "Oh, Tate bought me 5 bottles of wine." First of all, who the fuck drinks 5 bottles of wine? Second of all, then she's like, "Oh, we were just sitting on the bed, and then he just punched me." Like what? In what
dude,
world does that happen,
yeah,
bro?
dude, it's just
Even
complete
if
bullshit.
even if he did hit her, which I don't think he did, there was at least an argument beforehand, or at
Mm.
least something happened beforehand. The idea that you're just sitting there happy on the bed, and next thing wallop, like it just doesn't make sense. Like the
Dude,
story just doesn't add
we'll
up.
see this because a lot of times, guys, people now just get basically just convicted before anything even happens. Like, and that's what they're
Yeah,
trying to do. They're trying to with the internet. It's so easy to just say, "Oh, this guy did something," and then you pretty much just don't have any kind of alibi. Like, if you get convicted by the police and by the courts, that's now we're talking about something different. But if people just talking shit on the internet, see, that's what happened with Tate. Like, everyone was just talking shit about him. Oh, human trafficking, but that nothing, no one gave a shit because like obviously it wasn't. It's not. He's not convicted by the cops. Like, you have to be like convicted. But then what happened was now that he's arrested, now people saying, "Oh, he's gonna get convicted for all this crazy shit." So then it's gonna, if that happens, then people will start to turn against him. That's the only way, It's the only way that they can turn against him. And if they don't, imagine if they don't believe it. Like, what do they have to go on? That he was what was it that he abused women and shit like that? I mean, that is absolutely horrendous. But like, I don't know how you can prove that. I mean, it's like, how can you prove that this guy was doing crazy shit? I don't really know.
bro.
Like,
I don't trust the legal system at all, though. I think if they want to get him, they'll get him.
That's
See,
what. Yeah,
I think
that's yeah.
I think either one of three potential things are happening. Number one is, so you saw with the cancellation. The cancellation was obviously a massive coordinated effort. Like they all
Mm,
shut down on everything at the same time. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Uber. His bank account's frozen. So obviously
mm,
someone higher up made the decision that we're shutting this guy down, right? So
mm,
there's a coordinated effort to cancel him, right? So you could have that same kind of coordinated effort that could put pressure on the EU or something, or put pressure
mm,
on Romania and say, if you don't get this guy, we're not going to give you funding for this or that or the other because Romania gets loads of money off the EU, right?
dude,
So that's one potential option. The second potential option is they can just pay women to lie about him. You
mm,
like he already said that they were trying to pay women to lie about him. These people have unlimited money. You could pay random women 100 grand, 200 grand, whatever, to
mm,
just lie on his names, and now you got a load of women lying on his name saying that he did this, that, and the other. That's the second
mm.
option. And the third option is he's actually guilty, which I don't believe because if you know the actual story, he started the webcam business off in London. And the idea that you're like human trafficking women in London, and then
Yeah,
there was that case where the girl said that he hit her, and he said that he had like 9 witnesses, he had text messages, and the court case went on for 4 years, and eventually he
dude,
was
I didn't even know
proven
about
innocent.
that. Huh?
What?
I didn't even know about that.
Yeah, you see, I know all the information. Um, so I think the fact that he had all these girls working for him in London, you see, what they do is they say, "Oh, he went to Romania, this seedy country, to do human trafficking." The webcam business started off in London. He had like dozens of girls working for him
Dude,
in London.
Romania is not a bad country at all though. All these people talking shit in Romania. Romania is like one of the best countries ever, man. It's part of the EU, like so.
Yeah,
Same as Slovakia, Prague. It's same as all Czech Republic. Same as Poland. Same as all these countries. Pretty much
yeah,
everyone in the EU is like the same, like kind of shit, like
yeah.
in terms of
But
law.
before it joined the EU, it had a bad reputation for human trafficking. And then, in
Oh,
order to join the EU, they had to clean things up, and they arrested a lot of people. And so
okay.
it's not really like that anymore. But yeah,
Dude, I tell you what, Tate should get arrested for.
well,
Tell you what, he should get arrested for.
well,
The absolute abysmal rap that he put out. Nah,
what
you see,
rap?
It's hard for me to hate on his rap music because, like, even in the videos I'm watching, like, he has like the women, he has the fast cars, he has the sick lifestyle, he has all the money. So like, he's literally 90% of the way there. That's what rap music is. All he had to do was get a better beat and some guy explain how to flow on a song. Instead, he decided to go solo. Suicide Doors, 720.
Feels like a shot from the brain. Suicide, 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 suicide. Let's do it, die, do it, die.
Dude, that's so shit. Oh,
I don't
actually,
think it's that bad.
the hook is good. I said that in this. My reaction is coming out as soon as I get unbanned, but the hook is
But,
great. But the
but did you hear the story behind those rap songs?
yeah, it was because some guy. Yeah, no, I agree. Like most times, and let's talk about that, man. Because I want to kind of talk about different topics. Because like talking about making money, bro. Like I was just saying there, like he did those rap songs. What was it? You can explain it. You're better.
Why he did them?
Yeah.
No, he was what he said anyways was that he had a friend who was like trying to be a rapper, and he was just taking ages to produce any music. And then just to prove that you could do it really easily, he made those songs in like two
Mm.
days and put them
I
out
mean,
there.
it makes sense,
That
man. To be honest with you, because like a lot of times, man, like even nowadays, man, nobody has a sense of urgency. You have to have a bit of a sense of urgency about you when it comes to making money and shit like that. You know what I mean? It's just crazy. Like, people don't really want to have that sense of urgency. But and will you give us an update on how the trading is going, man? I know I always ask you about that, but we want everyone on the channel wants to know how trading is going.
the stock market's fucked at the moment. It's really hard to make money,
Dude,
but
we're in
it's
a
good
recession,
time.
right?
Yeah, it's fucked. It's good time to invest though.
Mm.
But it's a bad time to day trade.
Because I said
So
on a video, I said like you should do like anything on the internet, like you have to do something on the internet. But I think people still won't understand that concept, man. I still see people and they're like trying to like do like just regular shit. I'm like, guys, like, you guys have to be on the internet doing something, something like trading or some shit like that, or Instagram or fitness training or something.
yeah, man, like you can invest now. Investing is really good. That's why I'm trying to like
Mm,
get as much money as possible and just invest it as much as possible.
mm.
And I'm going to invest it between. I'm taking a chance. I'm investing half into Bitcoin and only Bitcoin. I might put like 40% into Bitcoin and then 10% into like shit coins. You ever heard of shit coins? Shit coins are just like they're just shit coins, but sometimes they
Yeah.
go up by thousands of percent. So it's good to like to take a chance on some of them, just a little bit, you know. And then
Yeah.
the other half I'm just going to put into stocks because like now is the time to do it because now everything is dropping, everything is getting cheaper, everything's at a discount. And
Yeah.
investing is really not that difficult. Day
Mm.
trading is difficult. Investing is not that difficult.
Tell us about your portfolio. I know you already did there. What's it looking
So
like?
I think when it comes to like investing in terms of stocks, for example, what you want to do.
Mm.
So basically now, because inflation is so high, they started increasing interest rates and they start taking all these steps to basically not reduce the money supply, but they're not increasing the money supply as much. So that's
Mm.
why all the stocks are dropping. It's like all the stocks
Mm.
are dropping. Apple's dropping, Tesla's dropping, everything. So what you want to do is you want to look for companies like, say, a Tesla, and you want to say, is this company going to exist in the next 5 to 10 years? Well, we
Mm.
know electric vehicles, we know there's a massive push for electric vehicles, right? We know that the government is bringing in regulations, making it mandatory for people to get electric vehicles. They're banning diesel vehicles, they're
Oh,
banning
damn.
oil vehicles. We know also that Tesla, it's not only a car company, it's an AI company because they have the
Mm.
AI for the self-driving and
Oh, yeah, that's
also it's a
crazy.
battery company. So you look at the company, you look at the fundamentals of the company, and you ask yourself, is this going to exist in 5 to 10 years?
Mm.
And then based on that, then it's dropping now, and it's dropping because of the policies that the Federal Reserve are taking, which says nothing about the quality of the company. It's
Yeah,
just the economy in general. So
that's
then you take a
crazy.
company like that, you know everything's sound with it, and then you just put money into that. And then in terms of diversification, you want to put your money into different sectors. So that's the electric vehicle sector. Then you might want to put some into like the tech sector. So maybe
And
a
how do you
company.
do that, bro? How do you do that? Is that on an app or something? How do you do that?
So you have to open a brokerage account. It's kind of like starting a YouTube account,
Yeah.
except you need your passport, you need your
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
you need a few documents, but you just open a brokerage account, transfer money into it, and then you can buy the stocks. And yeah,
Mm.
you diversify across different sectors. Tech sector, maybe Apple might be a good company, but you always have to research into the companies, make sure that
Yeah.
these are companies that are going to exist into the future. Because
Mm.
so I tell you about the classic example is Blockbuster. Did I tell you about
Oh,
Blockbuster?
yeah. Tell us about that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so Blockbuster sold DVDs, and then when
Mm.
Netflix came out, that made
Oh,
DVDs
yeah.
redundant, and Blockbuster
Mm.
stock went to zero. So before you invest in the company, you really have to ask yourself, is this company going to exist in the future? Is there going to
Dude,
be a
that's
demand in the future?
bro. How
And
much was
then,
Blockbuster worth before they got? Because when Connor was here, for those who don't know, Connor is my friend. He's like an investment banker in London, but he loves the same stuff you're talking about there. He was reading a book about Netflix. It's like a new book. The guy who made Netflix is like a new book that he has. And dude, he was saying that they literally bought they literally bought Blockbuster. No
yeah,
rules. Yeah, no rules. That's it. Bro, I was like, what the hell? That book is crazy. He invented Netflix at 45 years old. Like, crazy.
yeah. So that's what you have to be careful about. Blockbuster's business model became completely redundant. I
Mm,
wouldn't invest in something like Netflix because Netflix, like all they have really is a platform. You
mm,
know, they don't like if you invest in Tesla, they have vehicles they have AI
Mm.
technology, they
Yeah.
have battery technology, they have factories everywhere. What does
Mm.
Netflix have? Netflix is a site, you know?
Yeah.
So it's a dodgy investment, and Netflix dropped massively. And sometimes when
Did
they
they?
drop, it's fine because
Yeah.
everything's dropping because the economy's just shit at the moment.
Yeah.
And the Federal Reserve is raising interest rates. They've stopped quantitative easing and all this stuff.
Mm.
But sometimes they drop because the company is actually fucked. So you have
Dude.
to research and make sure that the company is all right.
Yeah, because he said they have, guess how many subscribers they have? I think it's 6.99 a month, 200 million users per month.
Yeah.
Like, it's insane. But he said also, though, that and this is why Tate is a Hustlers University class. I think in the future, one of my plans is, as well, not to be putting the information out there, but I want everyone to make loads of money. I think one of my biggest things I'm ever going to do, and I already have it, Patreon, I'm going to have a subscription based service. So, like, you have to pay like I have mine is €2 a month. I think the max you have to pay for mine is like 25 a month to get like all the, my Patreon, County Gains at patreon.com. And like, all you do is sign up there and then like you get free videos, you get all these videos. So, like, I think that's the future, man. I don't think anyone just paying for stuff anymore, because literally, like, now you can just go on Xbox Live, PS4, any kind of technology. We're big technology guys. Dude, whenever you go on PS5, I haven't played PS5 in a while, but PS4, PS5, it's all subscription. You have to pay for PSN Network, then you have to pay, you get free games on that. But like, you get stuff for what you pay for, but it's always subscription. Like they said there, you're gonna own nothing and be happy about it. That guy, who said that? Peter Schwab or whatever, like the guy that owns the
So
world. Yeah.
WEF. Yeah.
Yeah, he was like, "You're gonna own nothing and be thankful and love it, because we're not gonna have any like physical copies of CDs and stuff. It's just gonna be all automated." I don't know if that's that
No, bro.
great though.
I think he's talking dystopian shit. I think you're not
Mm,
gonna own houses. You're not even gonna have your own car. I think they're gonna use. I think they're gonna use climate change. It's gonna be the next
mm.
COVID. It's gonna be an
Yeah,
excuse
I saw that.
to
Yeah, yeah,
take
yeah.
away everything from you.
I
It's
heard
gonna be
that.
like,
Yeah.
have you heard about the 15-minute city?
No, no, I know about all that stuff though. The new world order and the government and stuff like that. They're trying to make like basically because, dude, did you know that they make fossil fuels? We'll talk about that. The 50-minute city. The fossil fuel thing is a lie. I was telling Steve the last day that's a myth. Like, in school we used to hear about you. I know you know this already. In school we used to hear about, oh, fossil fuels. They take millions of years to compress, and then dude, that's actually not true. Fossil fuels take 10 years to create. It's made by algae. This is scientifically proven. This is like a fact. But for some reason, they were saying, "Oh, now we're running out of fossil fuels." Bro, it takes 10 years. They have it already in China, in Japan. They have it in these cities that they're making fossil fuels already. In Russia's doing it. Russia's been doing it for
Yeah.
years, and like America's just saying this shit. It's like, what the fuck? It's so odd. Like, did you know about
Bro,
that? I know you did.
I know I don't actually know about that.
Yeah,
I thought it was.
Research it.
Yeah, that might be true. But I
Yeah,
think, anyways, the future is nuclear energy, anyways, because
yeah,
first of all, nuclear releases no CO2.
yeah.
So, like, if you're really worried about CO2, nuclear releases no CO2.
Mm,
And I mean, everyone gets really nervous about nuclear because the potentiality for like a massive disaster is so high. But when you look at the history of nuclear, what were the three accidents? You had Chernobyl, which
mm.
like 10 different things went wrong. It was completely incompetent. The
Yeah,
Soviet
that
Union
was.
did everything shit. You
Yeah.
had Fukushima,
Mm.
which was built on a fault line. Do you know fault lines where earthquakes happen?
Yeah, dude. The Ring of Fire, it's like the Pacific Ocean's insane. Like,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
why would you build a nuclear power plant in a place where an earthquake can happen? And then the third one was 5 Mile Island, which a lot of things went wrong there as well. But I invest in nuclear, and I just
Mm.
make sure that everything is done to the highest standards
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
everything is modern and updated. Because
Mm.
half time, like, they're like, oh, the nuclear power plant is 20 years older than it should be, and all this. I'm like, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah, yeah, it's
this is the
crazy.
one thing you should be taking seriously.
Dude's nuts.
But,
Like, yeah,
but
I
yeah,
watched
no,
that
fucking
doc.
global warming is a psyop. It's all just,
Yeah,
even if global warming is 100% true, which it might be, they're going to use it to just take away all our freedoms. You're
yeah,
not
yeah,
going to be able to travel. You're not going to be able to
yeah.
fly a certain distance. You know,
Man,
it's just,
it's just bullshit. Like, yeah, I feel like it is just bullshit, a lot of that stuff. But anyway, yeah, just to finish off, because we have 10 minutes, like, what do you think of like pretty much like Ireland nowadays? Do you notice like a shift in how things used to be before, the sea, the big cough? Do you notice things before that? Just a quick little round off, because I was saying in a recent video, I noticed people like over the age of 25, I feel like people are a little bit more like agitated now. People want to like get more, they have a big things with immigrants coming in. People are very mad. They're mad at those things. We touched on that last week or a few weeks ago.
Bro, Ireland, the
Do you see
Ireland,
yourself living here like long term? Like, do you see yourself? Because I don't know anymore. I used to say that for ages. I love Ireland. But what do you think now?
I think like if you can make money online or something,
Mm,
maybe you can stay live there. But honestly, if you could make money online, there's countries you can go to where everything's way cheaper. Like everything's
yeah.
really expensive. The cost of food is expensive, the cost of fuel is expensive, the cost of
Mm,
housing is expensive. But the Ireland of 10, 15, 20 years ago is gone. This
yeah.
it's a weird country now.
Mm,
Like, and I think we're headed down the same road as England. I
mm,
think there's going to be a lot of turmoil. There's going to be a lot of violence. There's going to be a lot of conflict.
mm.
There's going to be a lot. There already is there's already homeless people everywhere. We
Yeah,
have
bro.
a housing crisis. Our
Yeah.
government is completely corrupt. Don't you feel as well like with all these democracies that like what say do we actually have in anything that happens? It
Yeah,
seems
yeah,
like
it's
the
true.
agenda moves
Yeah.
forward in all the countries. Like
That's
all
actually.
these countries, the agenda moves in the exact same direction, despite the fact that they're supposedly democracies. And there's
Mm,
just no stopping it, and nobody has any say in it. And
Dude, you're spitting
yeah,
facts. I think you're spitting facts. That's preach right there. Like, because I think people now are just so angry. I see, like, I don't really leave the house too much apart from going to the gym, maybe going shopping, but like, I see it now, man. People are getting pissed off. They're seeing homeless people. They're seeing all this crazy shit going on. Like, really, like, I got offered loads of jobs last year, like just part-time jobs. I am doing my own, but I feel like people are just like some people are unemployed, they're homeless, and it's like they're really struggling to get ahead. And then I think what's going to happen is they're going to bring in that basic income as a they have to bring that in because it's just gonna, not that I really agree with that, to be honest, but they're gonna bring it in eventually when like the US and stuff like suggested for the EU, like, and stuff like that, and when all these crazy things, because I feel like, as you were saying, like we have like, what they said, the homeless crisis is at a breaking point. We have 11,500. They said it goes up by 100 homeless a day now, like, bro, or some crazy number. I was like, wow, bro, that shit's crazy. Like, obviously some are getting homes and stuff like that, but like we have 50,000 free properties apparently in Ireland, and they're not even being used. And not even that, but it's just a lot of like issues that are people like, we're voting on this stuff, and it's not even happening. Like,
but
young
we
people
don't get
will.
to vote on anything. Sure,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you see, even years ago, there was cases like where they had like I remember there was one case where they had this tiny little village with like 200 people, and they
Mm,
wanted to move like 300 migrants in. Those numbers might be wrong, but it was something like that. And like everyone in the village voted for it not to happen. And they
mm.
just did it anyways. Like, like there's the idea that we have a democracy and we have
Mm,
control over what happens is bullshit.
mm,
They set the agenda, they do what they want to do. And like it just needs to be
mm,
said, the fact of the matter is, like they're bringing people into the country constantly at a
mm.
time where we don't even have enough houses to house the people that are already
Yeah,
here.
like, dude,
We
here's
got
the thing
like,
as well. We're not even like I think, I don't want to speak for you, but like I don't think personally we're against like immigration. I definitely am in the fact of like bringing people that want to like come and like, do certain things, like, but if you're, or like, have regular jobs. But a lot of times, bro, I was seeing there recently, they're bringing in like people that aren't even from like war zones. They're just like bringing in like loads of people, and for like no reason. We're not even getting told like what the whole story is, and it's like, well, I can't just go to America or Canada to immigrate. Like, why is, I would just want no immigration laws, like everywhere, or else have no immigration whatsoever. It has to be one or the other. It can't be like half and half, like not logically consistent in terms of like, because then you have like loads of people coming in. And they had a thing up in Dublin where like they had like 20 people stabbed. Like, these people should be like integrated into society, and they're just like held in like these random places or whatever. I don't know. It just has to be a certain, there has to be a change in the way they do things in this country, because like you said, like, they just vote for it, they vote against it, and then it just happens anyway because they're getting paid loads of money. And really, money just runs all that shit. Money just, like, if you're actually coming from a place and you want to have a better life for your family, I agree with that for sure. but like you got to integrate into society and be like whatever, like the place that you're, whatever. But it's like you're having now like crazy shit going on, and I was saying on Instagram, I watched some guys on TikTok and they're getting such racism. I was like, bro, this is just disgusting to hear some Irish people talk all this racist shit. But like at a certain point, like you have 12,000 homeless people, like you have to help your own people before you can help the world. It's like us, bro. I got my YouTube channel. I can't help you right now, but I will help you in the future. Like I will help you, my brother. I want to bring everyone up, but I can't do that unless I myself am on top. Like I can't be, you know what I mean? Like it's
Well,
just
man, like when you think about it, they're just spitting in the face of the Irish people because we have thousands of Irish homeless people, and yet for the past 10 years, they've been bringing in mass numbers of military-age men, half of them not even from war-torn countries, even the Ukrainians, they're bringing in military-age men. Like there's loads of videos of military-age men. It's like during the refugee crisis in like 2015 or 2016, whatever happened, it was all military-aged men. Where were the women and children? And so they bring those people in, and they say it's for humanitarian reasons. It's not for humanitarian reasons. They just want more workers. They want more consumers. They want to pump up the GDP numbers.
They just want more money. Yeah, for sure. It's more money for sure.
It's because the Western world nowadays is run by business. So if you're a business, I don't know if I've said this, I don't want to repeat myself, but if you're a business like Tesco, for example, even if you bring in 10,000 refugees and put them all on the dole, they're still spending that dole in Tesco. They're still spending that dole in McDonald's.
Dude, that's actually so genius. That's genius, bro.
So think about this. If you're a middle class person, right, you have money. Normally, you'd save that money, you might invest it in a house, you might invest it in stocks, you might invest it in whatever. But if instead we tax that money from you, so you're not investing it in the house or anything like that, and we redistribute it and give it to all these refugees, whatever, and then they go and they spend it in Tesco and they spend it in McDonald's and they spend it in pennies and they spend all this. It's just more money turned to the system. So it's almost like a redistribution of the money.
Yeah, dude, that's genius.
That's what I think it's about. You think these motherfuckers actually give a fuck about humanitarian reasons?
Yeah.
Why do you think it's military-aged men? They want workers, they want consumers, and they don't give a fuck how many homeless people there are. It's just
it's facts. That's actually facts. That's like I've never heard anyone say it actually like that. That's genius. No, I haven't heard you say that before.
And they talk about democracy. Where's democracy? Do you feel like you have a say on anything that happens? Things happen in a particular way across all the Western countries. We're all moving along the same path, and no one gets a say in it. No one gets to vote for it. And then when you actually do get an outsider like Donald Trump, whether you like him or not, they do everything they can to try and stop him. The media machine goes against him. The FBI raided his house. They did a 3-year investigation into him that was bullshit. That turned out to be nothing. So the democracy is a scam. The scam.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely feels like in Ireland we're probably at the lowest kind of point. Like I think, you know what I mean, for a very long time, I think that a lot of people are pissed off. Like we're in recession now. That's gonna show a lot of things. Like I think that the last few years, like you said, there was easy money. I think even for me, it was like easy. I was working, I was doing things, I was doing YouTube. A lot of these things are easy, but I think now is gonna be a telling time. Okay. So we're just finishing off the last part. Like, did you want to say something?
So what I was gonna say was that this is when the economics are going good, and they were going okay for the last while, people can ignore a lot of problems. It's when people start running out of money, then things start to get bad. So I think now we're entering into a dark period in this country in terms of the cost of living crisis. Everything is getting more expensive. Nobody can afford housing anymore. There's homeless people everywhere. The economics are going bad. And now people are getting angry about these problems. And I think it's going to get really bad. Because people are like, we can't afford housing. We can't afford a house to start a family. We can't afford rent. We got thousands of people homeless. We can't afford to pay for food. We can't afford to pay for heating. And yet they're bringing in thousands of people, and there's thousands of homeless people. And I don't know if you've seen, there's all these protests and stuff in Dublin and
Yeah, what
stuff.
do you make of that? I wanted to ask you about that. What do you make of that?
Yeah, people are angry, man. It's gonna get bad. Like, people
Mm,
like when people have money, when you have a house and a car and things are going good, you ignore the problems. But then when the money runs out and the economic troubles start, that's when people start to get angry. And I think
mm,
that's when we're gonna see now in all these different Western countries. Ireland's not even gonna be the worst. I think it's gonna get really bad in countries like
mm.
England, where
I think the
it's
wealth divide is just getting crazy, bro. I see people now. Me and Joe were just
yeah,
saying it like recently. We're seeing people with like massive like cars, like 2022, 2023 Audis, BMWs, big massive Range Rovers, like brand new cars off the lot. And I'm like, yo, 0 miles type thing. And we're like, yo, like this is crazy. And then you have like homeless people. That divide is going to get to the point where those homeless people are just going to start robbing and looting and going crazy, man. I actually think that's going to happen, man. I think if there's ever a riot like they had in America or any stuff like that, or any whatever left wing or right wing riots, it's gonna be bad, dude. I think remember like the London riots, like remember we talked about that before?
yeah,
They were like
yeah.
raiding like places like Foot Locker and shit, and all these places, and like most of those guys weren't caught. Like if that was ever to happen here, like I mean, even the security is so little. Like I feel like, or just robbing people's houses. Like you see all these houses getting robbed in the countryside. I heard in our drive just up the road from where we live. Like there's mad robberies going on and shit, and they don't even have none. Like we don't have anything in my house. We're poor as hell. Like we I don't know about you so much. I know you as well. But I grew up poor as fuck, bro. We don't have shit in my house. We have like one TV. I got a laptop. Like we don't have shit in the gaff. Like so, it's like what the fuck are you guys robbing? Like and they're robbing the shit just to sell the shit. Apparently, I was listening to the police and stuff talk about it. They were like robbing stuff just to sell it in pawn shops and stuff. And you're like, God, this is just nuts.
Yeah, yeah. Well, also, how many of those cars are on finance as well? That's the thing.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I was telling Joe. I was telling Joe that.
And
I mean,
here's the thing about finance. When you have all this debt, you have
mm,
debt in terms of finance for cars, you have debt
mm,
in terms of mortgages, you have debt in the United States, for example, in terms of student
mm.
loans.
Yeah,
When
let
you
me ask you,
enter,
is that good? That's not good debt either. That's terrible debt.
well, you see what happened with the 2008 financial crisis, which could potentially happen again, is
Mm,
with all these people that had these mortgages. So they had debt in the
yeah.
form of mortgages. And then when the recession hit and suddenly they didn't have the money to pay their mortgages anymore, um,
Mm,
and there were other things that were like variable mortgage rates. So the mortgage rates were changing and stuff. But basically
that's crazy.
people couldn't pay their mortgages. So they start to default on their mortgages en masse, and then banks started failing and stuff like that. So if you
Mm,
enter into a massive recession and there's all this debt, people have debt, they owe money to pay for cars, they owe money to pay for their housing, they owe money to pay for their college, and then suddenly they can't pay it anymore because they've
mm,
lost their job because they're in a recession. Then you can have a
mm.
massive economic crisis. And then if something like that happens again, because I don't believe that we've recovered from the 2008 thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think
I love the
it's a
finance stuff. It's
continuation of the
amazing.
thing.
Mm.
I think if we have a massive kind of financial collapse, which could be coming, in some countries it's going to get really bad, I think. But
And
then
what do
here's
you?
the other thing:
Yeah.
if you want to get really conspiratorial about it, are there people out there who want to destroy the system? Because
Mm,
this is like a kind of a communist thing that in order
mm.
to usher in a new utopia, you
Oh, it will
first have
be
to
as well.
make
It will be the basic income.
yeah, you first have to make the system that exists unlivable. So you make it
Mm.
like you destroy what exists, and then you come along and say, well, here's the
Damn.
solution. We got this new thing. Because if someone comes to you with a radical, if you're like, let's say the economy is good and you have money and everything's going well,
Mm.
and someone comes to you with some radical new economic system or new
Mm,
way of running the country, you're like, fuck that. We're happy with the way things are. However, if everything is falling apart, the financial
mm,
system falling apart, people are rioting, this, that, and the other, then someone comes in and says, well, I got the solution. I got order. That's what the
mm.
communists did. That's what the fascists did. You know,
Yeah, that's actually
there's
crazy.
opportunity in chaos.
That's crazy, bro. Wow, you're spitting facts here, man. We need you on the podcast more.
Well, I mean, I think there's certain people that want that. Like,
Hmm. I mean, I don't think it's that far fetched personally. I think that it's not far fetched at all. I think that, you know, let me ask you a question. What do you think about like just like straight up just like let me fucking articulate myself. Let me ask you about like just jobs in general, like in Ireland. Like, what do you think of like just working for like somebody else? Because I was like talking to I was listening to a podcast recently, and Mark Cuban, that big millionaire, he's worth like 500 million or whatever in America. He's on Shark Tank, the same as basically Dragon's Den. He basically said, I would rather work 80 hours a week for 50 grand than work 40 hours a week for €1 million for $1 million, $750,000 and work for somebody else. So basically he's saying I'd rather work for myself. What would you like? That's insane. Like I was like,
uh,
bro, I think working for myself, I don't know how much you would agree with me on this, but I think working for myself is always the best option. I feel like working for the people is just at a certain point, because in life, like you have to eventually work, you have to work for somebody, and you have to, sales, clients, stuff like that. But I'm talking about like running a regular 9 to 5 job, because I feel for me that just got played out so quick. That got played out after like 2 years. I was like, man, allow that. I'm not even like Connor was saying, and we know how much Connor was earning. He was saying he was earning 200 grand, all crazy shit. Like our friend in England, I don't want to be putting out how much he's earning, but just let's say a crazy amount of money, like your uncle or your sister and stuff. They're doctors, big time doctors in university
they
hospitals.
don't even earn that much in this country.
Yeah, yeah. So what do you think? Because it's like, how do you get ahead then if you're working for someone? What do you think about just the overall, and how can somebody get ahead? Like, what do you think about
Well,
that?
first of all, in terms of the Mark Cuban example, in his case, I'd work for the person
Mm,
because if you're making 1 million a year, you work for 3 years, you already have 3 million. You
that's
can
true.
you can buy property with that, you can invest that. I mean,
Mm,
it's not hard to grow 3 million or
mm,
so.
that's
But
true.
whereas if you're working for yourself, if you're testing, but generally
But there's
speaking,
no but there's
I
no
don't
long term
like the idea.
potential in that, right? Sorry to interrupt. There's no long term
No,
potential in that.
well, I think there is because I think, like, even what I was saying with Connor, like, if you can put your head down and work hard for a few years, make the money, and then
Mm,
put it into investments and then get out of the game, then you're fine, right? If you're making a
mm,
lot of money, you can do that. But generally speaking, I don't like the idea of working for people. I think if you're like, if you're like high test, to be honest, you don't want to work for someone else. You don't want fucking some Susie telling you what to do. And
yeah,
for
dude.
example, when I was
Brutal.
doing these interviews to work for Nike, and it's first of all the HR, we're gonna get really
Yeah,
controversial
you
here.
do it big time. Yeah, Nike. That's big time.
Yeah. So I'm gonna get really controversial here because I actually studied HR, human resources, as part
Mm,
of a module in college. HR is completely run by women. It's all women. HR is women or effeminate men. So they run all the shit in the company, right?
mm,
Because they control the humans, uh, their human resources, right? So they
mm.
control that. And you just talking to these people, and they're like, oh, where do you live? Because we meet up in Dublin and we have pizza nights and it's like I don't want to fucking go to Dublin and have fucking pizza nights with fucking Mary and Susie and Tiffany and all this shit. Like,
Right, right,
fuck
right,
off, fuck
right.
off.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I want
And do you think it's bad? You think it's bad because they treat you badly? They can't understand what it's like to be like let's say a high testosterone male like yourself.
I
What do you
think
think?
because I think the human resources is by because of the type of temperament that you have to have, and you
Mm,
have to be an agreeable person, you have to be able to work with
mm,
people. It's all women that do it or effeminate men. And yeah, they don't understand. They don't have the
Yeah.
same mindset as
Yeah,
us.
yeah,
They're
yeah,
the
yeah.
kind of people that will say that Tate is toxic. They'll say
Mm.
we're toxic. They'll say that the gym is toxic.
That's not, dude,
And
that's not a controversial thing to say. You know, when I was in college, bro, I had one lecturer, you know who it is. I don't want to say names and stuff, but bro, she hated me. Everyone hated her. She hated me. Like hate, guys. You know what I'm saying? Like a not hate. She would like just about pass me on every single module, even though I'd do good and we would do good as a group. But she was anti working out. You know, she was very overweight. She was anti self help. She was anti everything that I basically stand for: mental acuity and mental toughness and strengthening. And you know, let's get going. Let's get fired up and let's do this job. You know, let's get a let's go out and fight. You know what I mean? Wars and shit. I was with all this shit. You know, protect your people, and you know, I'm very for protecting people. And she was so anti all this shit, and I was like, bro, you know, she was so like, you know, hated me. She always would make fun of me. She was like, why are you wearing certain clothes in my class? Because like I would, you know, just back from the gym, and I would make a note to come back from the gym all sweaty, like David Goggins said, to show you that I'm taking your soul. I'm out here working out. I'm progressing while you're there sitting there eating Cheerios, eating Cheetos. You know, I did that for a reason. I did that to piss her off. But like she doesn't understand what it's like to be us. So like how can she be lecturing me in a certain subject? You know, her subjects were bullshit, but how can she lecture me in something that I'm pretty much better than her in my own mind than, you know what I'm saying? It's like tough. It's like I get what you mean by that workplace. Like it's very hard to
yeah,
take orders from someone who's not like, you know, I worked in a place that's very feminine. You know, Steve said the last time I worked in a health food shop. This is actually a really good example. And Steve went into, you know, the health food shop the last day and said, wow, Chris, how did you ever work there? You know, you're like a very masculine guy, as are you know, as are the people that we hang around with. You know, how could you work there? And I was like, I don't even know. You know, the managers were very like, you know, they're very, let's say feminine, you know, they weren't masculine, let's say the opposite of feminine behavior. So like opposite of masculine, they were like feminine as hell. So it's like it's very hard to relate to a guy who's like, you know what I mean, that's like that. Not even like trying to be controversial. It's just hard to relate. Like I can't relate to my girlfriend really that much. Like, you know, she's completely different. Do you know what I'm saying?
yeah. So like, it's like it would be like imagine if you worked on a construction site and your
Mm,
manager, he's gonna be this masculine fucking construction worker guy, right? And he sees your videos here, or
mm,
where we're talking about the shit that we're talking about. He's be like, yeah, who cares, whatever. Now imagine this is reported to HR and Susie, the fat woke feminist, sees it and she's like, "This is toxically masculine." Do you
mm,
want to live under the thumb of these people? And by the nature of the temperament that you have to work in HR, it's
mm,
all a particular type of person that is working in HR. It's not gonna be like some gym goer tough guy like this.
mm,
So you're living under the thumb of these people. You're living in an environment where you can't speak your mind openly. You can't
mm,
make jokes. You can't post videos like we're posting now. Because if you get
mm.
reported to HR and Susie is saying, well, I don't like this. And next thing you're getting fucking fired. Like, so you're
Yeah,
living
well,
under
dude.
some of these people. You have to
Yeah.
go up to Dublin. Imagine getting the fucking train to Dublin to go to pizza night, to fucking eat
Mm,
pizza with all these fat weirdos. Like, and
mm.
they're
Well,
like,
it's
what do you even talk to these people about? Like,
yeah, it is a funny one. Like, you know, I like obviously like when you can't relate to people in a workplace, it's really tough. Like even just like different interests. That's why I love working for myself because, or you know, I do work, but I'm just saying for the most part, I want to work for myself eventually. I mean, that should be a lot of people's goals. But just working for your whole life for somebody else, for me, I just hate it. Some people can do it. I think, you know, my girl, like I always say, she loves it because she has her own things outside that. She does coaching, she does other things, but like just for guys, man, it's very hard to take orders constantly and just be shit on constantly. You know, when you know like that you're doing good, you're like, oh well, I'm trying to do my best here. Like I'm not trying to, you know, mess up the company. I'm talking about because my old job, they used to give out to me. They used to shout at me because I would say I'm only focused on making money. I'm over here making sales, and you're talking about me stacking shelves. I remember I was stacking beans incorrectly. I don't know. I don't want to really say this. I don't know if I said this before, but I was stacking shelves and stuff, and I'm not worried about that stuff. I'm just like putting stuff up, whatever, and then I'm trying to talk to clients, trying to make sales. I remember one day I made like 2,000 euro worth of sales, and they brought me in the back giving out, shouting at me about some shit. Oh, not stocking stuff correctly. Some stock might be out of stock, and I was like, who gives a shit? I'm like such a bigger picture guy. I'm like, I'm thinking about 10 years down the line. Like, Murphy, come on, we don't care about little things like that's why a lot of like that's what I'm saying, that feminine activity, as you're saying, that's very pernickety. Like they're very pernickety. They're very like, oh, very, very like, oh, get this, I have to do this exactly. Whereas guys, very masculine guys be like, it's okay, just leave it. Like, let's just move on. Whereas they're just so pernickety. I couldn't be around that. I was like, I need to just be with my friends and do my own work, It's tough.
Bro, like, I mean, the modern world has just completely fucked men over on every regard. Because when you think about it, not even that long ago, like, if you were a man, you were probably like a farmer, you didn't have anyone above you or anything. You do your farm and whatever. You're in charge of your household, you're in charge of your kids. Now we live in this world where you have these woke feminist HR people telling you what to do. The wife can divorce you at any moment, take your kids away from you. You have no control over your own family. You're not the man in the household. I mean, and I don't like taking orders in general.
Yeah, that's me. Like, I don't care if it's a man or woman, to be honest. I'm just like, you know what? I just cannot take orders from this fucking idiot. I'm just like, bro, fuck this guy. I'm kind of a dick as well. You know what I was thinking of the last day? Like, we're kind of the type of guys, and I know a few other guys are like this, that are like, when we get like confronted with like violence or something, we're like, oh, I'll take everyone out. I'll fight 4 of you guys. Because I remember one time my friend was like, I'm gonna hit you. I'm gonna fight you if you fight my friend. I was like, fuck you. I'll fight all 3 of you then.
That's toxically masculine.
Yeah, I think even though I probably would have got the shit kicked out of me, I still was like confronting, because I was probably one of those guys back in the day, that was at the front of the village, like there's a whole army of people, and I would like run at them, like, do you know what I mean, knowing that I would die. But I was probably one of those guys back in the day. I would imagine, or my ancestors were. So like, we're very like stick up for what's right, for what we believe in. Do you know what I mean? I think that we're that kind of attitude. And it's very hard to take orders from someone who's just like a coward, basically. Like a lot of these dudes are cowards. Like, do you know what I mean? They just don't stand up for anything they believe in. And people will get mad at you because you will stand up for shit. You'll be like, yo, I don't agree with that. I don't think that you should take drugs for mental health stuff. And then people shout at me on the internet. One guy said the last night, oh, you can't cure mental health with doing push-ups and exercise and nutrition and talking to people. I was like, and he said, keep piggybacking off off other YouTubers, basically trying to take my energy. And I was like, brother, he goes, don't make any more of those videos. And I was like, absolutely not. I said, I'm making a video today just because you said it. Fuck you. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was just doing it just out of spite him. So it's like, no, like, you're not going to tell me what to do. Like, YouTube will. I'll bow down to YouTube because I have to, I guess. You know what I mean? For the meantime. But like, do you know what I mean? I know it's kind of pussy to say that, but it's like, I'm not gonna really, really like, do what Logan Paul says. Like, if I have an opinion though, that's some cuck shit. Guys are just cucked, man. They're too like cucked, man. It's the word. Like, they're too controlled by women. If their woman says, dudes will kill you because their woman says you, because the woman gets mad at you. Oh, you said this about me, and the guy will come and shoot you, stab you. That's what they do in American shit, man. It's crazy. All the rappers rap about it all the time. Dude will kill you over some woman. It's like, bro, what the fuck? Women are dictating what? Like, because you said some shit. You didn't do anything to anyone because you said some shit. Oh, fuck you, bitch.
The thing is, as well, in the Western world, is we have no free speech left, in the sense that, like, if you want to work any kind of corporate job or anything like that, and you want to post an opinion that goes against the mainstream narrative, against even things that aren't even controversial, things that are accepted in other parts of the world nowadays, and things that would have been accepted in the Western world 10, 20 years ago, all it takes is for someone to report you to HR, and you lose your job. So you can't speak your mind. So you really have to find a way. Like Tate says, you have to get your finances in order.
Yeah.
And that way you don't have people above you that can control you.
That's how Hodgson started YouTube. They started YouTube because they got fired from the job working in finance, and then they just lived off welfare for a full year, and then they just went on to become, big YouTubers. Like they got fired because someone reported them making videos in their office, like, and they got. I don't know if you know much about the Hodgsons.
Yeah,
I really admire them. I love the Hodgsons, but it's like, they got, well, now they're okay. Now they do a bunch of different content, but it's funny. My grandma. This difference might just leave it at this, but the difference between Eastern Europe and Western Europe. My grandma said to me, she said, she came to my grandma's obviously Slovakian. She's Eastern European. She came to me. She said, Christopher, how are you doing? She goes, in my country, they put out a public announcement. The first thing you do in the new year is you check on the men, see how the men are doing, because they have to do a lot of hard shit in life too. Like, that's the first thing that she told me when I woke up in the morning. She barely speaks English. She was like, Christopher, check, how are you? Are you doing good? Checking on me, like, And I'm like, oh, grandma, I love that. I said, I'm doing great. How are you? Now, my grandma's a 79-year-old little lady, you know what I mean, that has heart condition. So, like, she's checking on me, like, so, like, that's, they understand how tough it is for people. In Eastern Europe, they understand, bro. Like, they understand that shit, like.
Well, really, like, it's just like the Western world has been completely feminized, and you're so deep in it that you don't even realize it. But again, to quote Tate, to use an example of him, did you hear the story he told where when he was saying the stuff about depression, the woke people, they sent thousands of emails to his workplace in Romania, who was commentating for the Romanian MMA, and because those are still masculine countries, they get all these emails saying Tate has this opinion about depression, and the manager, whatever, is just laughing at them like, ha ha ha, and just throws them in a bin. Whereas in the Western world, because it's so feminized, it's like if you have an opinion that goes against the mainstream and they report it to HR, it's like, you're not allowed to have that opinion. You can't say that.
Yeah, nobody disagrees with equality. Like Connor was saying that last day, like no one is going to be like, oh, we don't want equal. Everyone is equal nowadays. Everybody is. I grew up poor as fuck. I'm a white.
No, we ain't equal.
Huh?
I don't think it's equal.
It's probably the other way, if anything. Do you get me? It's probably like women have, like, no, I agree.
Bro, women have all the rights.
Yeah,
all it takes is for any woman to ring the police and said you hit her, you raped her, you shouted at her, and next thing you're getting arrested. And I mean, maybe you can beat the case in court eventually, but you know how much of a headache it is to have to go to court, show up to court, the stress, the anxiety of all that.
Yeah, it's actually nuts. Like when you think
you have a bad breakup with a girlfriend, she can say you raped her. She can say this. She can say that. Don't need any proof. Next thing you're in court, and like this, and like it doesn't go the other way around. Obviously, I can't say that my woman. Can you imagine me going to police? My woman shouted at me. My woman raped me. My woman
laugh at you.
Yeah, exactly. So a woman can say whatever she wants, and you're in court. The woman can take your kids, so you don't have control over your kids. I mean,
it's pretty nuts. Like the whole system's pretty screwed up. But I think we'll leave it at that. I think we actually got some good content there. Do you want to say anything else? You want to talk about anything else? Steve was home now. I just want to talk to him a little bit. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast with me, man. You're an absolute legend, bro. Shredder.
I'm gonna get you cancelled out here.
No, you're not. We didn't say anything bad.
Fake suit.
I don't think so. No one's ever said anything to me in real life. Anyway, no one's ever came up to me and said anything. So ever like. So I just hope, when YouTube reinstate my channel, I'm just gonna do just literally talking about just reacting to stuff, because that's what I love to do anyway, Joe. I love to do that. So it's like, you know what I mean? I'm just gonna do what I love to do. So are you doing anything today? Are you going to the gym? I'll cut this part out, like.
Yeah, and I was making my rice, so I'm gonna make fried rice now and then go to the gym. And
hell yeah. I went this morning at like 9 o'clock. It was sick.
Yeah, train my aunt today, €30, 1 hour session. It's good. I want to get money in from as many different places as possible.
Yeah, facts. Do that, man. It's sick. Like, we'll keep elevating. This year is just for elevating. This year is just a grind year. I'm gonna put.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, go on.
I'm gonna put the next 2 years as just grinding years. Next 2-3 years is like grind. Just on the same shit, investing, grinding on it. It just has to be like that. I don't think I'm going to get anywhere if I just keep chopping and changing and doing stuff, do you know what I mean? Like, which I was doing in the past. So I'm going to really just focus now for the next few years. So hopefully,
because the other thing as well is also like, I think, because I was talking to my aunt about this, you have to like evaluate and determine what is successful. Because I think when I was talking to my auntie, she kind of like wanted me to go into some career or something.
Yeah.
I was like, Auntie, I'm looking around at all the people who in my life who are in careers, whether
Mm.
it's my sister, whether it's her boyfriend, whether it's my cousins. And like
Mm.
all these people are on antidepressants. My sister and Marcus aren't, by the way,
Mm.
but
Yeah.
the other ones are. They're all on antidepressants.
Yeah, I
They're
know a
all
lot of people as well.
fat. They're all out of shape. They're all
Mm.
miserable. They're all having midlife crises. And on
Mm.
paper, they're successful because they have a
Mm.
good career. And I'm like, is this success? Success to me is
That's
having a combination of you want money, yes, but
mm.
you also want to be in good physical shape.
Yeah,
You want to
facts.
be mentally strong. You want to be mentally
Facts.
resilient. You
Yep.
want to have freedom. You want to have the freedom to speak your mind. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
Like,
Facts.
if you can't speak your mind because you're worried about losing your job,
Mm.
like,
No, I agree, man. I agree with everything you're saying. I think it's very true, man. I see people nowadays, and all the people that work in all these on paper sick jobs, like even Connor was saying it, man. He was saying like all the people that work for him are all depressed, overweight, they're
yeah,
upset, they hate their job, they hate their life. I'm like, but they're earning so much money. You see, money and all this stuff has nothing to do with it. It's whether or not you actually enjoy what the hell you're doing. Like, if you just
yeah,
do it just to be successful on paper, I mean, what are you doing it for then? It's like, what are we talking about
yeah.
here? It's
It's
ridiculous.
just
But
about the status, but it looks
yeah.
good to the people looking from the outside.
Legend, Murph, man. Thank you guys so much, man. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys in the next video.
See you guys. Stay
Peace.
free, stay happy, stay
Let's go.
all positivity. Pray for Tate.
Pray
Pray
for him,
Tate.
that's for sure.
Free.